to Australia as a dependent. The abuse started immediately.
At that time, I saw my death, and I had a feeling of a person is going to be killed.
Ellie says her temporary visa status made it more difficult to flee.
Women's shelters didn't accept me. They said, we couldn't help you because you are on temporary visa and you don't have Centrelink.
She's on a bridging visa and waiting on a decision as to whether she can stay in the country. The acting Immigration Minister, Alan Tudge, says there are family violence provisions which allow temporary partner visa holders to be granted permanent residence. Over 5 years, 2,500 people were granted permanent visas under these provisions. And the Minister says no temporary visa holder who experiences domestic violence will have their visa cancelled. But advocates warn there are women falling through the cracks. Mikkel Morris leads the Multicultural Family Violence Centre In Touch. About half the women who contact them aren't covered by those provisions.
What we're calling for the government to do is to introduce a 2-year visa with Centrelink rights, with working rights and with health rights.
Family violence agencies have real concern that women feel trapped because they often don't have adequate access to income and services.
When they come forward, services can't help them very much. They're limited in terms of the kinds of safety and supports that they can access because of the visa they hold.
Marie Seagrave studies the impact of family violence on temporary visa holders.
I don't think it's well understood that abusive partners promise to sponsor someone on a partner visa and then deny them that and use that as leverage to control and abuse them further.
An argument for empowering the vulnerable in a relationship. Nicole Lasher, ABC News, Melbourne.
Moving overseas now, and there's been widespread international condemnation of Tuesday's shooting in the Nigerian city of Lagos, in which Amnesty International says security forces killed at least 12 protesters. Thousands of Nigerians have been demonstrating daily for nearly 2 weeks against the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, which has been accused of extortion, harassment, torture and murders. For more, I'm joined from Lagos by the journalist Deji Farami. Very good evening to you, Deji. Is it calm there now?
Oh, yeah. I'll say good morning to you from Nigeria. It's very calm. It's quiet. It's tense as well. A lot of people, aren't particularly sure what's going on. People are just trying to stay safe in their homes. We're still getting reports of shootings. We're getting reports of robbery. We're getting reports of hoodlums, destroying public and private property. So, yeah, it's calm, not in a good way. I'd say it's tense, more like.
Do you distinguish between, or is there a difference, I should say, between what you call the hoodlums and the protesters?
Oh, yeah, there is. Like I said earlier, the protests had been going on for about 2 weeks, and the protests had been peaceful as well, peaceful everywhere, in Lekki, in Alausa, in Abuja,
Apologies, we've lost the sound to Deji there in Nigeria. Apologies, we can't hear you. We'll try again. We're watching pictures from the protest the other night, which Amnesty says 12 people were killed during. Deji, let's try one more time. So the hoodlums that you say are coming in, who do you think is sending them? Where have they come from?
Yeah, so I hope you can hear me better now. There've been reports that the government are involved. Earlier when the hoodlums started interfering and disrupting these protests, there were reports that the government were involved. Questions were being asked: if the government weren't involved, how come the police aren't stopping the hoodlums? How come the police aren't, making sure the protesters are safe? So these questions have been on, but then. At the moment, it's beyond all of that. It's, a lot of people who are unfortunately angered by the incident of Tuesday. A lot of people going around destroying property, a lot of people going around robbing. It's a bit of chaos. I don't know what the bit of chaos is, but it's a bit chaotic, when you go to some places in Lagos at the moment. When you go to the streets are destroyed. A lot of people can't even go out. The roads are bad. The roads are destroyed. It's a bit chaotic now at the moment. We're not quite sure where these people have come from. But like I said earlier, there are reports that the government have a hand in it, because the big question is, if the government don't know about it, if this is not a scheme, then why aren't they stopping it? Why aren't they stopping these people?
OK, what concessions so far has the government made? I mean, the protests have in some regards been successful in achieving what the initial aims were, have they not?
Well, they have. Once the protest started about 2 weeks ago, a few days later, the government came out to announce that they've disbanded the SARS squad, claiming that they will now reform them and turn it into SWAT, a new team. But the big question has been the same thing. We've heard about disbanding SARS now 4 times in the last 4 years, in 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019. There's been news, there's been announcement from the government that they have disbanded the squad. It's brought this uncertainty in the minds of Nigerians. There's been lack of trust as well. Nigerians are asking the question, you've disbanded this squad over and over again. What's the plan this time? We need a lot of authentic, we need some authentic response. We need, something solid. We need to see solid reforms of the police. We don't just want, word of mouth. We don't want the government to say that they have disbanded for a 5th time in about, 4 years. So I think, yes, there's been some progress in terms of the response, but nothing authentic, and people don't trust the government.
OK, there's been I'm sure you'll have been watching it from around the world, an outpouring of support for the protest there. Do you think that has made a difference to those people who want to see more change?
Yeah, it has. A lot of us, it's what we've wanted. We want the world to know about it. We want the world to talk about it. You can see the awareness for the Black Lives Matter movement across the world. Even up until now, when Premier League games are played in England, players take a knee before kickoff. It's the sort of awareness we want. We want people to talk about it. We have been talking about it mostly silently over the last couple of years, but the government don't quite listen to us, and we want the world to now support us. We want the world to give us that encouragement, the awareness, so that we can keep on talking, so that people can realize the level of injustice, the level of harassment, extortion, and killings going on, and how we don't trust our police. They should keep us safe. They should secure lives and property, but we don't trust them. We don't trust the government to keep us safe. And, I feel a lot of people talking about it across the world. That's really good for Nigeria. We need people to keep talking about it. Hopefully, the government will then listen.
Adeji Fairami, thank you very much for talking to us live from Lagos. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pope Francis has expressed support for same-sex civil unions. Vatican observers say it's the pontiff's strongest remark yet on the issue, but doesn't signal a change to Catholic doctrine. In a new film called Francesco, the Pope said homosexuals have a right to be in a family.
What we have to create is a civil union law. That way, they are legally covered.
As an archbishop in Argentina, he opposed efforts to legalise same-sex marriage.